doing today? My name's Eric. Thanks for stopping by and check out my video. On this episode of Smo'King, I'm going to show you how to make homemade smoked ham bone soup. Now you might ask, where am I going to get a smoked ham bone? Well, I have this delicious smoked ham bone from a delicious smoked ham that I made last week, and it came out absolutely delicious. I'll leave a link below in the video description to show you how to do it. No need to spend $90, $100 at honey baked ham this holiday season. Go buy a regular smoked pre-cooked ham at your supermarket for around a quarter of the cost. And check out my video on how I make a homemade pineapple and bourbon glaze. It's way better and a lot less expensive. And once your relatives and friends hear that you've made it homemade, they're going to be so impressed, trust me. But anyway, that was last week. This week I have the remains, this delicious ham bone, and you never want to throw away a ham bone because there's so much delicious flavor. So I'm going to be making this homemade soup. I'm going to let that ham bone simmer in this crock pot on low overnight, and tomorrow I'm going to be mixing the rest of this ingredients to make a delicious homemade soup. Real basic. We got some onion, some garlic, some carrots, some celery. I got a couple potatoes, some chicken stock, and then I got a couple pounds of beans. I got some Great Northern beans and some small white navy beans. And this soup is going to be absolutely delicious. So stick around, I'll show you how to make this step by step. Let's get cooking. So the first thing you want to do is you want to put the ham bone in the crock pot, or you can also cook this on the stove top. Now I'm planning to make this soup tomorrow, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the crock pot on low overnight so it can come to a low simmer and all those delicious flavors can come out. So I put the ham bone in here. Now I have some regular chicken broth here, and this is the low sodium. If you can get the low sodium, I definitely recommend it, because there's a lot of salt already in this ham because it's been smoked, and you don't want to go too crazy. The other reason you don't want to go crazy with the salt and wait till it's done is because when the beans get added, they can get a little tough if there's too much salt. So what I'm adding right now is 6 cups of chicken stock, which is 48 ounces. There we go. Try to get as much as possible. And then what I'm going to do is add 2 cups of additional water. Now you don't have to completely cover the ham bone. You definitely want it at least halfway submerged. Now I'm going to let this simmer, like I said, overnight on low. It's only around 8:30 in the evening. I'm going to be up for a couple more hours. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put it on high, put the lid on it, and I'll leave it on high for an hour or two just to kind of get that water bubbling. And then before I go to bed, I'll put it down on low, and then I'll, I also have a simmer. I'm going to put it on simmer and flip that ham bone over just so we can get all those flavors to get soaked up in that water. Let me show you how to do the beans next. So I took the 2 packs of beans, put them in a colander. I rinsed them for several minutes over cold water out of the tap. Kind of go through there, look for any broken beans, you know, beans that are discolored, that don't look right. And then what we're going to do after we've rinsed them off really well is we're going to transfer them to some kind of dish, and then we're just going to cover them with a couple inches of cold water. And we got to let them sit overnight to soften up, otherwise our beans are going to be really hard. So I'm just going to, you know, we're going to drain this in the morning, so it's not an exact measurement with the water. And there, that's fine. Just so they're covered with water. And that's it. All right, it's been around an hour and a half. I've had it on high here. It's almost up to a boil. I'm going to turn it over. And you know what? Since I have such a big slow cooker, I think I'm going to add a little bit more water. This is a 7-quart slow cooker. So, to even things out, since I put 6 cups of chicken broth in, I'm going to put 6 cups of water. So I'm going to add 4 more cups now. Because this is going to be cooking overnight, I want to make sure. Oops. It's going to be delicious. Once I take this bone out, I'll have plenty of room to put the beans and all the vegetables and stuff. And I want to make a lot for leftovers. So there you go. We got 12 cups total. 4 cups of chicken broth, 4 cups of water, and this big, beautiful, delicious ham bone. It's going to simmer all night. I'm going to turn it on low now. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning after a good night's sleep, hopefully. And I'll show you how it looks at that point, and we'll move forward. Until then, good night. See you tomorrow. Good morning. Here we are. It's been simmering on low all night. Let's take a look at it. Oh, man. It smells wonderful. So you can see a lot of big ham chunks fell off the bone. So what we want to do now is take out all the pieces here and just leave the remaining liquid. And then we're going to add our vegetables, and we're going to add our beans that have been soaking overnight. So I'll be back in a second to show you that once we get this cleaned out. So I just took the beans out of the fridge. You can see they definitely got a little bit bigger because there's less water on top now. I'm going to rinse these off real good a couple times in cold water in a colander. And then here I've done my vegetables. I got some onion, some celery, some carrots, and some potatoes. I also have a little bit of fresh cut thyme, a couple bay leaves, and some garlic. So let me get all this rinsed off these beans, and we'll be back in a second when we add it to the soup. So I've removed all the bone and little pieces of meat. I have around 2 cups of ham here that I sliced up that I had left that we're going to add. But first things first, we're going to add the 2 pounds of beans that I rinsed very well. And just be careful because this liquid's hot when you pour it in there so you don't splash. There we go. There we go. Stir that in really good. Man, it smells wonderful. Next, I'm going to add in those vegetables. And I'm going to hold off on the ham a little bit. I'll add that probably in an hour or two. I just want to give a little head start. I don't want to crowd the crock pot. I want to give a head start on all these vegetables. So I'll be back in a second to show you how it looks like when everything's mixed in. So here we are. I mixed all the vegetables in. You can see the crock pot is quite crowded now. We're almost at capacity. We're around 6 quarts. So when I add that ham, it's going to bring it up right to the edge. But that's okay. I like lots of leftovers. So now I'm going to put this on low, and we're going to let this simmer all day. We want to bring it up to a little simmer and just let those beans get nice and tender. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't want to put any salt in there because the salt might make the beans a little tough. We're going to add some salt when the soup is done, if need be. We might not need to add any because that ham had a lot of salt in it. And then we'll throw a couple, 2 or 3 bay leaves on top. Boom. We'll stick that on here. There we go, man. Oh, it smells wonderful. So I have it on low. We'll let this go. I'll come back in maybe 3-4 hours when I'm ready to add that ham, and we'll see how it looks like. See you guys in a little bit. So here we are. It's been several hours. Let's take a look and see how this soup is coming along. Ooh, it's looking good. It's bubbling good. It's getting much thicker, as you can see. So at this point, I'm going to dump in the ham, which I have right here. We'll stir that in. Give it a little bit of flavor. It's already fully cooked, so I didn't need to have it in there the whole time. I wanted the beans to make sure they got done. Okay. And I'm just going to add a little bit of some black pepper. Just for some flavoring. I'm going to let it go for another hour or so, and then I'm going to give it a taste. And we'll see if we need to add a little bit of salt if necessary. But I think we're good. There we are. Man, it's looking good. So there you go. We'll let this go a couple more hours, and we'll be back when it's time to serve this up. See you in a little bit. Alright, you know, the soup is just about done. I'm going to make some cornbread to go with it, but in the meantime, I'm going to have another beer. This is a new one with an interesting can I saw at the supermarket, GFB. It stands for Green Flash Beer. It's a company out of San Diego, and it's a blonde ale. So I thought I'd try it. I've never heard of this beer before. I know nothing about it, but you know what? GFB, I kind of like it. Nice abbreviation. So all I know, it's a blonde ale, 4.8% alcohol, so it's probably on the light side. It looks pretty good. Man, I have to tell you, the soup has just been filling the house with delicious smells. My wife did a couple errands. She went to the post office. She came back. She opened the car door out in the driveway, and she said she could smell it. So, man, it's you forget about it until you leave the house and you come back and you're like, wow, it smells great. So, man, I am so looking forward to this tonight. It looks wonderful. But anyway, thanks again, guys, for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Cheers. Okay, it doesn't really smell like anything. Maybe a mild grain, a little yeasty. It's got a nice golden color. Let's give it a try here. Okay, mild citrus taste. Slightly sweet. Taste a little bit of hops, a little bit of malt. Yeah, it's good. It's definitely got more character than a domestic beer. I mean, it's not earth-shattering. It's got a very mild flavor. I typically like something a little bit stronger. But not bad. Not bad at all. It's nothing spectacular, but if you like blonde ales, it's certainly refreshing. Certainly something that's easy to drink, particularly in the summertime. Here we are the day before Thanksgiving, and it was 84, 85 degrees where we live here in Southern California. So it's been extremely hot. So it's a great time for this. But anyway, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to be making some cornbread muffins to serve with the soup. So I'm going to enjoy this beer, get the muffins in the oven. We'll be back in a second when I'm ready to dish this out, and we'll take a look and taste how this soup is. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit. All right, it is ready. Look at how delicious this is. Oh man, it's a meal in itself, and it smells wonderful. I'm going to dish some out and get my son Kyle out here and see what he thinks. We'll do a little sample tasting. Be back in 1 second. Alright guys, here's my son Kyle. I dished some out for him. I'm going to dish some out for myself. I have to admit, I took a little sample. It is delicious. Okay, Kyle. I also made some cornbread muffins. Give it a shot, Kyle. Tell me what you think. Oh, man. Man, absolutely delicious. You can totally taste that ham bone just made the broth so flavorful and so tasty. A perfect thing to eat during the winter months when you're cold. Man, it's a meal in a bowl. It's delicious. Again, guys, I appreciate you watching my video. If you like what you see, please like my video. If you like my channel, please subscribe. I got a lot of other cooking videos, so please check them out. Until next time, say goodbye, Kyle.
Bye.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.